never fall, never crawl, yeah, we're moving up. Wanted more, let it pour till we fill our cup. Never giving up before it's over. Never counting on them four-leaf clovers. Taking names, throwing flames till we burn it down. In the mud, uppercut, yeah, we're breaking ground. Never giving up before it's over. Never counting on them four-leaf clovers. We could feel the fire, never getting tired. We ain't gonna stop till we drop, man, we hit the floor. Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you. We ain't gonna stop. So come on and put your hands up. We're gonna bring the house down. No one could ever stop us. We're gonna set it off right now. Come on, put your hands up. So come on, put your hands up. Come on, put your hands up. On a roll, never fold, never have enough. Overtime in the grind, put your banners up. Never giving up before it's over. Never counting on them four-leaf clover. We could feel the fire, never getting tired. We ain't gonna stop till we drop, man, we hit the floor. Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you. We ain't gonna stop. So come on and put your hands up. We're gonna bring the house down. No one could ever stop us. We're gonna set it off right now. Come on, put your hands up. So come on, put your hands up. Come on, put your hands up.
Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you. Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you. Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you. Come on, all my soldiers, do it like I told you.
So come on and put your hands up. We're gonna bring the house down. No one could ever stop us. We're gonna set it off right now. Come on, put your hands up. So come on, put your hands up. Come on, put your hands up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Sunday Night Showdown with the NEXXTCAR Racing League. That is right, folks. We are back and we are here at Iowa Speedway for week 3 of season 10. And to help us count down to the drop of the green flag tonight, well, it's none other than the one and the only Peyton Tullock. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, right? How's it going?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's back. It's Sunday night. We're back here in NEXXTCAR, and tonight, Peyton, we are going short track racing for the first time this season. You know, in weeks 1 and 2, we had some very draft-heavy tracks. We had Daytona, we had Pocono, but tonight it is all in the individual driver's hands around a 7/8 of a mile track.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of guys had this place circled as kind of a wild card already early in the season. Reason why is this track is very difficult and very challenging for drivers. It's truly a driver's track, but as guys are learning in practice, this thing right now, I'm sure the track will change, but it is icy out here. It's all about taking care of your equipment and staying out of trouble, and it's going to put on a hell of a show for the booth tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You said the key word, staying out of trouble. Well, we're seeing it here in practice tonight, Peyton. I think that is easier said than done right now because, hey, they repaved this track, but it did not make this track any easier to navigate.
No, I mean, we've seen it in seasons past. Guys, talented guys. I mean, I remember Caleb Lamb as a points leader wrecked out in this race. It doesn't matter who you are, or where, what. It's kind of its own little version of the Monster Mile at Dover. Like, this track will come and get you, and guys will learn that very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, walk me through the new repave of Iowa Speedway. You know, before it was a bottom feeder track. You had that high line you could run, but you had to be extremely careful because I don't know if you remember or not, but there used to be a seam up there in turns 1 and 2 and then down on the other end of the track in 3 and 4. You had to be careful. You could not split the seams. You couldn't have your left side tires below it and your right side tires above it because, man, you're going to meet that outside wall if you did. But even with the repave, Peyton, that seam is still there. And turns 3 and 4, it's a little higher up the track than it was. And in 1 and 2, it's a little lower than the track. But what kind of strategy is that going to play a factor tonight? Because it's you know, a repave, but it's the same old Iowa where you cannot split that seam.
Yeah, it just adds another element to it. I mean, this track, it's so unforgiving on both like where you are on the track and throttle control. If you miss that, like your line by half a car length, or you hit the throttle, half a second too early, that could be the difference of you having a fantastic corner into the wall. So it's very tricky. It's kind of a risk reward kind of thing, Ronnie. And I think it's also what kind of separates guys here pretty easily is how consistent can you be on hitting your marks.
Absolutely. That is exactly what Iowa is. This is a momentum track. This is a track where you've got to carry speed off the corners. You're not going to throw it into the corners and, kind of ease off. You've got to keep the momentum. But like you said, this is a track you've got to hit your marks on. If you miss your braking zone by just a meter, you're meeting that outside wall. See you later. Hasta la vista. Move on to next week because your car is toast. So you've got to hit your marks at this track. You've got to be consistent. And like you said, this is a track that consistency is key. You miss that mark one time, that messes up not only that lap, but it could mess up your next lap too when you try to regain that back.
Yeah, not to mention, like with throttle control off the corner, you're going to see it. I almost guarantee you 2 to 3 times tonight at least, where a guy trying to get a little too much off the corner, gas up too much, and just goes spinning on the front stretch. So it's a lot of key things guys got to be like on the lookout for, and it's a lot to handle as a driver. That's why I mentioned in the pre-race in our post, like this is a definitely challenging track. Like it is had a lot of spice throughout the years, and this year's no different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about the history of NEXXTCAR here at Iowa, you've got to think back to a driver that is making his return in NEXXTCAR, Noah Jackson. He found himself in some interesting scenarios here at Iowa in seasons past. So like you said, NEXXTCAR and Iowa, they've got a great history together, and it always puts on a show, and I expect no different tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm very interested to see how this race goes and who will rise to the top because you got a lot of new faces tonight in this league. I mean, we're still very young in the season, so a lot of guys still trying to get their footing, figure out who's the guy to beat, and I think tonight will kind of go a long way of kind of making that momentum for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned we're very young into the season. This is only week 3, but the different tracks that we have had in week to this point of the season, Peyton, walk me through it. As we're going to pull up the schedule for everybody to see here. But you had Daytona to kick off the season. Everybody knows how Daytona goes. Then last week we were at Pocono. I'm sorry, in week 2 we were at Pocono. This week we're at Iowa. We mentioned it at the top of the pre-race show that this is the first short track race of the season. But you're going from 2 extremely draft-heavy tracks in Daytona and Pocono to Iowa, and then you're going right back to drafting at Indianapolis Motor Speedway next week. So walk me through what kind of a transition is this part of the season for the drivers, where 1 week you're reliant on the draft, the next week you're reliant on that steering wheel in your hand.
It's hard because it's a completely different style at racing and driving. I mean, you try to compare Pocono to Iowa. I mean, the first thing you're going to say is, well, there's a different amount of corners, and you'd be correct. But the second thing you're going to say is just how different your driving style has to be. Pocono, like you said, very draft heavy, very I know we talk about momentum here, but Pocono even more so momentum. Those long ass straightaways really can affect. You have a bad entry, I mean, you could, or exit, you could lose 2 or 3 spots. Iowa, I mean, this is I mean, it's considers itself a short track. It's got a little bit of short track racing to it. I mean, you're gonna see guys try to do a little bump and runs, maybe push somebody out in the corner with these unstable cars and get under them. It's hard, Ronnie, because I mean, 1 week your mindset's, all about momentum and whatever, and now this week it's like, oh my goodness, this car's trying to jump out from under me. So it's very possible you could see a completely different group of guys up front this week compared to that Pocono.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, you guys are going to see the standings scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But let's talk about the standings here, as we've got 6 minutes left in practice. 2 weeks into this season, Peyton, Alberto Abar, very consistent. 2 top 5 sitting at the top of your standings with 98 points. Then let's talk about the next guy. Actually, we'll talk about both those guys. Abar kicked off the season at Daytona the best way possible, heading to victory lane. Robert Babcock currently sitting second in the standings, tied with yourself at 71 points. We left Daytona. We talked about it. That was the best performance we have seen out of that number 2 car in a very long time from Robert Babcock. He continued that last week as well with another top 10. So, hey, Robert Babcock and Alberto Abar, they are both on a hot start to season 10.
Yeah, it feels like they're on the opposite side of the same coin. Like Alberto, we kind of expected this point with him, Mr. Consistent, no surprise there. But Robert Babcock, I mean, we talked about it after Daytona, and even so after Pocono. I mean, hell of a start for the guy. I mean, yeah, me and him had a little fun finish at Pocono, but it's been a great start for the season. You gotta love it. It's a guy that I feel like he's very much a momentum driver. Like when he can tick off like a start like this, it's like, wait, watch out, because like Robert can get hot and stay hot. So I think it's really important for him to come out tonight. I'm not sure if he's registered yet, but just keep doing what he's doing. I mean, and as for Alberto, like, talk about a guy who wants to win his first NEXXTCAR championship off completely on the right start of the season. I know this is a challenging track. I don't know if it's one of his favorites, but here he is. I mean, sitting P3 on the board in practice. So we'll see if Alberto can continue that momentum up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alberto Abar running the Z-Line Designs throwback to Kyle Busch. Peyton, this is our first broadcast here since the horrific news that basically brought NASCAR to its knees a couple of weeks ago, just before Charlotte, of the passing Kyle Busch. So, hey, great to see Alberto out here in that throwback scheme for Kyle Busch. But moving on with your standings, you got yourself in third, tied with Babcock for second. Then you got last week's winner from Pocono, Colin Bollinger. He's currently sitting fourth in the standings with Jesse Graham. Last time we were in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Peyton, Jesse Graham walked away with that championship trophy. Now you ask him about it, he says it came with an asterisk. Who cares about that? Winning the championship is winning the championship. It doesn't matter how you got it done. Jesse Graham starting the season sitting inside the top 5 in the points.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys and are happy that the Final Four playoffs gone, both in real life and NEXXTCAR, and I'm even one of those. But at the end of the day, for the guys who won championships in that format, myself included being one of those, at the end of the day, making the Final Four is extremely difficult. And that's one thing Jesse's got to remember. He put himself in position to have a chance at that championship. And then all you got to do is be consistent in that race, and you have a shot. And then all it takes is a mistake by the 2 guys leading it, and then Jesse pounces and wins it. So I don't put an asterisk on it at all. I mean, he earned it. I mean, sure, Jesse will admit he probably wasn't the fastest guy that season, but that's not that's not how sports work. I mean, you see it in the NFL, you see it in NASCAR. Like, it doesn't matter you weren't the fastest guy. You got to show when it matters. That's what he did. Now, as for now, like, we're not really doing that anymore. Like, whole season matters a whole lot more. But still, Jesse's a talented guy, and no surprise to me, he's even shown it already. He's in the top 5 points, so don't count him out. As for Colin, I think that's the guy that probably has the most to prove this season. He thinks and feels like he's top dog, which is very well be the case, but can he put up a whole season and guy and get a championship? We'll see. So, two very interesting guys to watch this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the rest of your top 10, Cole Morton, Robert Asong, both those two drivers off to a hot start this season. Joe Torres, he's made one start this year. He's in 7th, tied with Asong. Then you got Andrew Bolander in 9th, and Corey Taylor, a strong start as well, rounding out your top 10. Then last season regular season champion Caleb Lamb back in 11th. Brendan Jenks making his return to NEXXTCAR in 12th, with Trent Branson, Owen Bridges, Patrick James, Daniel Veerkamp just on the outside of the playoffs there, Chase Payton looking to try to crack inside that top 12. What's it going to take? I know we're only 2 races in, but this regular season goes by quick, Payton. It's only 10 races, 2 races down. What's it going to take for those drivers on the outside to get in?
Just no worry. Like, keep a cool head. Like, Daytona is one of the 2 races we've raced so far, so there's a long way to go in this season. I want to remind the guys who maybe weren't here for it last year, but I mean, there could very well. There's so much time in the season. Somebody could not even be here tonight, not made a single start yet, and still make the playoffs. AK, look at what Noah Jackson did last season.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't join the league till 3 races after. So, and he went on a tear. So, it's very, very, very early. There is nothing set in stone yet. We're all just getting our footing. It really doesn't matter, quote, where you are in the standings right now, because you can kind of make up your season as you go. Like, control what you control. Don't stress about it too much. It's not quote unquote go time just yet.
Absolutely. Looking at Daytona to kick off the season, we had 6 incident cautions, 7 with the stage break. And then last week at Pocono, we had 4 incident cautions with 5, including the stage break. Tonight, it's Iowa Speedway. Payne, how do you feel about this race, and how do you think it's going to go down tonight?
I think without a fast repair, it's going to be a little bit spooky. I ain't going to lie. Because I think guys are going to be trying to get all they can get and early. I kind of hinted already. I think it's going to be a race. You got to survive for one. Like, at the end of the day, surviving this race is very important. And there's going to be a lot of guys I don't think are say they survived Iowa. It's all said and done. But tire management as well. Like, this track eats up tires very, very quickly, and the last thing you want to do is go out here and run qualifying laps, burn your stuff, and then fall through the field. So it's going to be a challenge. It's definitely not my favorite type of track, but I've had some good runs here. So we'll see how it goes. To be honest, Ronnie, we'll just kind of see how this one goes and try to keep our head clean.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, keeping your head clean right before I let you go for qualifying. What's it going to take to do that? Because this is short track racing. Bumpers tonight are going to get used. We've seen it in NEXXTCAR's past. The tempers flare, the sparks fly. Tonight, what's it going to take to keep that head clear, the chin up, and keep this thing under control?
Cool, calm, and collected. Even when, you're going to get put in situations you're not going to be happy tonight. Guys bumping you, guys squeezing you. You get loose, not loose in spots, but don't get angry at that situation. At the end of the day, this is short track racing. It's a long race, 140 laps. Also, very key, right here, qualifying well. You do not want to get buried in the pack at a short track like this. It's going to be hard to pass tonight without burning your stuff, especially. So starting up front and just being cool, calm, and collected is very much key.
Absolutely, buddy. But hey, it's week 3. I appreciate you jumping up here once again for the NEXXTCAR pre-race show. Best of luck tonight here at Iowa, buddy.
Thank you, Ronnie. Hopefully I talk to you again later.
Yes, sir. But folks, that is going to do it for your NEXXTCAR pre-race show here from Iowa Speedway. Folks, we have had 2 draft-heavy tracks at this point of the season, but tonight in week 3, it goes down short track racing. This is Iowa Speedway, and this is the NEXXTCAR Racing League.
Here we go. It's about time that we set it off. Here we go.
All right, folks, welcome back here to Iowa Speedway, where we are currently qualifying for tonight's race here in the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Folks, this is short track racing NEXXTCAR style. Iowa Speedway here for week 3. What could possibly go wrong? Let's check out your information for tonight here in week 3 of season 10 and the Battle in the Cornfields 125 presented by True Designs, Racing Cockpits, and W Energy. True Designs, if you don't know what that is, well, that is a paint scheme creating company owned and operated by our very own Nicholas Trudeau. He has painted so many of these beautiful schemes you are going to see out here on the 7/8 mile track tonight. Let's check out your weather. 68 degree Fahrenheit, under 84% humidity, clear skies, but that wind blowing at 18 mile an hour. That's going to affect the handling off these corners, folks. So these drivers, not only is the track going to be an issue, well, that wind is going to be an issue as well around this 0.88 mile track. But folks, check out that track temperature currently sitting at a hot 106 degrees Fahrenheit. That means one thing and one thing only, folks. This track is hot. This track is slick. These drivers are going to have their hands full, and that means we are in for one heck of a show tonight here for 140 laps with that stage break coming at lap 60. These drivers, they have had draft to rely on for the first 2 races this season, but tonight, it all comes down to the driver and their skill. Iowa Speedway, it's a tough track. You heard Peyton Tulloch talking about it in the pre-race show, just how tough it is to navigate this track. They repaved the corners, but it did not make it any easier here at Iowa. These drivers, they're going to have their hands full. They're going to have their elbows out. You're going to see the bumpers being used. You're going to see the side panels being used, and that usually leads to NEXXTCAR feuds. But tonight, baby, it is short track racing NEXXTCAR style. Qualifying has come to an end, and we are getting ready to go racing here at Iowa. Let's check out your starting grid for tonight. Grabbing his first pole in his first race in NEXXTCAR, well, that is Chase Pierce in that 37 with a 23.921. Starting on his outside, the one and the only NEXXTCAR veteran of NEXXTCAR's past, Brendan Jenks in that 81. Row number 2 is going to go to Caleb Lamb and Dylan Eller. Row number 3, Joe Torres, Peyton Tulloch. Row 4, Owen Bridges, Alberto Abar, with Corey Taylor and Cole Morton rounding out your top 10. Row number 6 is going to go to Nicholas Don Francisco with Colin Bollinger to his outside. Jesse Graham in that 13th position. Coop Reed in his first start in the 14th. Cole Gosnell making his NEXXTCAR debut in 15th. Brent Holm in 16th. And Trenton Branson starting in that 17th and final position here tonight. Let's see if we can't dial up your pole sitter here, Chase Pierce. All right, unfortunately, Chase Pierce is not on team communications, so we're not going to be able to pull him up. Let's see if we can't dial up Caleb Lamb real quick. Caleb Lamb, it's Ronnie in the booth. You got me, buddy?
Hey, what's up, bud?
Not much, man. All right. You are the defending regular season champion.
Oh,
it's been a great start. It's been a great start to season 10. What's it going to take to get your name back at the top of that standings?
Finish a race for starters. That'd be good. Maybe get one of those elusive wins. You know, I haven't won here yet. We'll see what this hard AF Chevy can do.
Yeah,
pretty good pace in practice and qualifying. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're coming into this race 11th in the standings. Obviously, the chase is back in NEXXTCAR, but you mentioned it, getting that elusive first win. What's it going to take tonight here at Iowa to get it done in that number 4?
Tire save, tire save, tire save. We're make sure you're not slipping the tires coming off of these corners into the different types of asphalt. Try and stay in the dark stuff. You get up into the light stuff, there's bumps and all kinds of crap up there. It's not fun. So just try and manage your tires and find your way at the front of this stuff and stay in clean air. So that's the goal.
Absolutely, buddy. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks, dude.
Yes, sir. But, folks, the pace truck leading the field down the backstretch for the first time tonight here at Iowa Speedway. The rookie, Chase Pierce, sitting on the front row. The pressure all on that 37 in his debut here in the NEXXTCAR Racing League. The pace truck hooking that hard left onto pit lane. The control of the field is in the flagman's hands, and we are underway here at Iowa in week 3 of the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Green flag is in the air. Up through the gears they go, bumper to bumper, side by side, down into turns 1 and 2. Brendan Jenks immediately jumping ahead of your pole sitter, Chase Pierce out of 2. Brendan Jenks leading the field down here into turns 3 and 4. Chase Pierce right on his tail with Caleb Lamb, Dylan Eller, and the rest of the field side by side behind him. Big wiggle out of Joe Torres out of 4. That's going to stack everybody up behind him. Owen Bridges up in that 7th position. A great start for him tonight. Alberto Abar in 8th. Corey Taylor, 9th. Colin Bollinger, last week's winner, trying to make that outside work. He's already up 2 positions. He's just going to break inside the top 10 now out of turn 4 as he's going to get around that 94 machine of Cole Morton. But out front, Brendan Jenks continuing to lead the way here on lap 3. Owen Bridges, Joe Torres, they were in a side-by-side battle. Bridges right now holding strong, but now Torres and Alberto Abar side by side into 3. Abar down low, Torres outside. Now, here comes Corey Taylor trying to apply the pressure to the back of that number 3 good wrench. I'm sorry, the Mobile 1-3 of Joe Torres. Paying to luck, Owen Bridges side by side this time through 1 and 2. You can see Owen Bridges blinking a little bit there through 1 and 2. To luck just ahead him, trying to hold strong that Tennessee Titan 17 Chevy. Caleb Lamb, he's starting to run down Chase Pierce right now here in that number 37. Pierce, a phenomenal start to his debut here in NEXXTCAR. Grabbed the pole. It doesn't get much better than that, but here early on, trying to hold on and lead these veterans here in that 2nd position. But Caleb Lamb applying the pressure down the backstretch here into turn 3 and 4. Caleb Lamb making a move to the inside of Chase Pierce. Is he going to get the pass completed off of 2? He's not quite clear. Now he is. He moves up. Up in a 2nd goes Caleb Lamb. We talked to him there right before the green flag. He just wants to finish one of these things. Well, he's off to a hot start tonight, but up into the outside wall right here at the start-finish line was Caleb Lamb. But he's going to keep that number 4 under control. But Peyton Tluck's got his hands full out back. Owen Bridges still trying to make this pass happen on the bottom. Oh, that's going to get tight. 8-bar just behind these guys in that 43 machine. Let's jump on the roof cam here of Alberto Abar as these drivers down through turns 3 and 4 coming back to the line this time. Bridges going to make the pass happen that time out of 4. Abar's looking to take advantage of it as well. Abar down low. Tluck concedes the position up high. Abar in that 43 Z-Line Designs moves up into that 6th position. Just behind Peyton Tluck, your week 2 winner, Colin Bollinger, he's moving his way up through this field. He's up 4 positions from where he took the green flag. And you can see right there, folks, he started in that 12th position, currently in that 8th position, trying to work his way up to that Tennessee Titan Chevy just ahead of him. But here comes Joe Torres. Torres, he has lost 4 positions since the drop of the green flag. Not sure if that's a little bit of a strategy call. You know, you heard Caleb Lamb talk about it. You heard Peyton Tluck talk about it. Saving your tires is going to be key. Is this maybe a strategy call out of the 3 of Joe Torres? Just saving, saving, saving. But right now, Colin Bollinger, your biggest mover of the race, up 4 with Joe Torres, your biggest loser, as caution is out for the first time tonight, as Coop Reed is going to bring out the caution here tonight in his NEXXTCAR debut on lap 9. Let's back it up and let's see what happened to the 14. It looks like maybe he just lost it by himself off of turn 4, and that's exactly what happened. Oh, lock her down, buddy. Does a phenomenal job of locking this car down to minimize the damage. Keeps it out of the, oh man, keeps it out of the pit lane wall. What a drive by that 11 of Coop Reed. Does a fantastic job of keeping that Chevy Camaro out of the outside wall. Let's see if we can't get on that NEXXTCAR drone real quick. Watch him just barely keep it out of that outside wall, overcorrects it, but then recorrects it back to the inside, and then just, my goodness, folks, you couldn't fit a piece of paper between the left rear of that 14 machine and that pit lane wall. That is as close as it gets. My goodness. Let's watch off the rear deck lid here, and then we're going to jump inside the cockpit. Ooh, baby. Just keeps it out of that pit lane wall. Now let's jump inside the cockpit and watch these hands go to work as he wheel and dealing this 11 off of 4. Cranks it back to the right as far as it goes, locks her down, and barely keeps her out of that wall. Man. But folks, under caution for the first time tonight. Brendan Jakes, Caleb Lamb, Chase Pierce, Dylan Eller, and Owen Bridges, your top 5, with Alberto Abar, Payton Tilla, Colin Bollinger, Joe Torres, and Corey Taylor, your top 10. $17 drivers out of the 42 drivers that we've got signed up this season making the race tonight. So not exactly sure what's going on with that, but not our biggest field we've had in NEXXTCAR. But hey, these 17 drivers, folks, I can guarantee you they're going to put on one heck of a show for you tonight for these next 160 laps. But the lights should be going off on that iRacing pace truck this time by. And they do. Jenks Lamb, Pierce Eller, Bridges Abar, Tulloch Bollinger, Torres Taylor, your first 5 rows on this restart tonight. Jenks choosing that bottom line here. NEXXTCAR, we allow the leader and the leader only to have lane choice. So Jenks choosing that bottom line. A little interesting call there because, remember, he started on the outside of the front row on the initial start, and he took the lead down into turn 1. So a little interesting call there by Jenks, but nonetheless, the pace truck back on pit lane. The control of the field is in the hands of Jenks, and we are back racing here at Iowa. Gets a great launch. Caleb Lamb, Chase Pierce side by side down into turns 1 and 2. Lamb outside, Pierce bottom. Side by side battle continues off of 2. Still dead even down the backstretch into 3. Just behind them, Owen Bridges. Bridges just buying his time right now behind these 2 side by side. Almost up into the outside wall goes Caleb Lamb, but he's going to complete the pass that time off of 4. Now, can he apply the pressure to the back of the 81 of Brendan Jenks? Bridges down onto the apron there through turns 1 and 2. Keeps that 12 under control. But is that going to open up the door for Dylan Eller into 77? It does not. Here comes Alberto Abar into 43. Abar powers that 43 machine down to the bottom of the track. He's going to get to the inside of the 77. They're going to be almost dead even at the line, but Eller hangs on that time at lap 17. Abar not going away. Still side by side this time through 1 and 2. This is the battle for that 5th position. Coop Reed is up against that inside wall. No caution here. Now the caution flies. Under caution for the 2nd time tonight here at Iowa. The 14 machine. Something amiss between himself and Homan. Homan immediately toes the pit road. All right there, the 49 machine of Brent Homan on the outside. Just gets loose, and unfortunately, Reed just underneath them, and that, folks, was a hard hit for that 49 machine. Man, the 14 just unfortunately an innocent victim in this one. Right there, the 49 just gets loose and comes down the track, and unfortunately, Coop Reed was to his inside. But both Coop Reed and Brent Homan on pit road here under your 2nd caution of the night. But folks, we're going to step away here for a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we have got more action right around the corner from Iowa Speedway. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
You were born for this. Just know you were born for this. We are the warriors who learn to love the pain. We come from different places, but have the same name. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark the flame. Watch as the fire rages. Our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. 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 Gonna show 'em a thing or two. I'm gonna tear up, set it loose. Feast your eyes, I got something new. From up here, you can't beat the view. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just
All right, folks, welcome back here to the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where we are getting ready to go back racing after your 2nd caution tonight. Brendan Jenks, Caleb Lamb once again making up that front row. Jenks choosing that bottom line. The pace truck back on pit lane. Into the NEXXTCAR restart zone we go. Green flag is back in the air here at Iowa. Up through the gears they go, bumper to bumper. Once again, Brendan Jenks gets a launch. Chase Pierce bringing a battle to the inside of Caleb Lamb. This time clears Lamb as they head into one. Lamb's going to fall back to third, but here comes Dylan Eller and Owen Bridges trying to bring the attack back to the fore. Owen Bridges, phenomenal start to this race here in the first 23 laps. He's up into that 4th position. He's up 3 spots from where he started this race. Colin Bollinger up 6, up into that 6th position, but it is an absolute slugfest behind him. 1743 teammates side by side through turn 1 and 2, down the backstretch into 3 and 4. A-bar down low to Luck outside. Just behind them, Joe Torres buying its time in that number 3. Remember, he started this race out losing positions early on. We're just waiting to see if that a strategy called out of that Mobil 1 Chevy Camaro. But under attack from Nicholas Don Francisco in the 9 here. Don Francisco powers his way around the outside. Torres trying to fight and hold on that inside line. Trenton Branson, Cole Gosnell. They're right behind Cole Morton and Jesse Graham as they're running side by side just ahead of these guys. Cole Gosnell making a move. He's going to get underneath Jesse Graham. He's going to take over that 12th spot. Cole Morton hanging on right now just outside the top 10 in 11th. But here comes Cole Gosnell powering his way to the back bumper of that 94 machine of Morton. Just ahead of Cole Morton. Still side by side battle between Nicholas Don Francisco and Joe Torres. Torres still holding strong on the bottom. Don Francisco trying to get that outside line to work, but nothing doing this time through turns 1 and 2. But outside, Jenks, Pierce, Lamb still holding strong in the top 3. Eller still under pressure from the 12 of Owen Bridges, with Bollinger just outside the top 5. Now powering to the outside of the 12. Bridges down low. Bollinger outside. Here comes Peyton Tulloch. Here comes Alberto Abar just behind him. 2 by 2 for 2 rows back here for that 5th position. Bollinger holds it right now. Bridges, Tulloch, and Abar, they want it. Now Owen Bridges. Bollinger cleared him, but now under attack from the 17. Now the 17 is going to clear him. Now here comes the 43 of Abar. Can Abar take advantage of the 12 being pinned on that inside line? Yes, he can. He's going to power his way to the outside. Almost up into the outside wall. Is that the 77 machine of Dylan Eller? Yes, it was. Bollinger takes advantage of it. Payne to Luck up into the outside wall with a big slide job on Alberto Abar at the start-finish line. That's going to open up the door for the 43. But the 43 is going to be pinned in behind the 17, who's still trying to recover from being slow. 17 sideways out of turn 2. Abar just buying his time right now behind the 77 and the 17. Joe Torres, he's joined this battle, and he has brought along Owen Bridges and Nicholas Don Francisco. Folks, you can throw a blanket over the top 10 drivers. Let's jump on the roof cam of Nicholas Don Francisco here as they go down through turns 1 and 2. They're going to get everything settled now here. Oh, Alberto Abar way up the track. That's going to open up the door for Joe Torres and the Mobil 1 Chevy down below. But Abar gets the big drive off of 4. He's going to clear the 3 once again. But can the 3 of Torres rebounding bring the battle back to the inside of that 43 machine? Let's jump on the helmet cam of Nicholas Don Francisco here down the backstretch here at Iowa Speedway. We are just over the halfway point here of stage 1. Coming around now to complete lap 32 of 60. And while we were watching that happen, folks, we have got ourselves a side-by-side battle with your front row to start this race. Pierce down low, Jenks outside. Chase Pierce powers his way around the NEXXTCAR veteran. Chase Pierce says, hey, this might be my debut. I might be a rookie, but I'm here to make a name for myself here in my very first race in NEXXTCAR. Chase Pierce to the lead here on lap 34. Abar, Eller, they're in a side-by-side battle. Abar's going to prevail. He makes the pass on the 77. Joe Torres trying to bring the battle to the back bumper of the 77, but right now, Dylan Eller doing a phenomenal job at hanging on, but here comes Torres looking back to the inside of that 77 machine. Oh, Joe Torres is going to get underneath the 77 machine at the bottom of your screen right there. A little bit of contact there with the right side of that number 3 machine into the left side of that 77 machine, but the 3 is going to prevail. He's going to move on in to that 7th position. Now looking to make an outside move of the 43 machine down here in turns 3 and 4. Torres drives it in deep. Remember, we were talking not too long ago about that 3, how he was falling back through the field. Was it a strategy call to conserve those tires? Well, right now, that 3 machine of Joe Torres is working his way back up through this field. He is up 4 positions from when we were talking about him falling back. He has fought his way up into that 6th spot, just outside the top 5, just behind that 17 machine of Tulloch. Don Francisco, Bridges, their side-by-side battle continues. Cole Morton just behind this battle on the 94 machine. But out front, Chase Pierce continuing to show the way over 2 NEXXTCAR veterans, Brendan Jenks, Colin Bollinger. Bollinger has worked his way up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag up into that 3rd position. Your winner from Pocono. Can he make it back-to-back weeks of trips to victory lane? Well, I got a feeling Chase Pierce and Brendan Jenks, they're going to have something to say about that one tonight. Cole Gosnell, Jesse Graham in a side-by-side battle. Graham down low. Oh, up the track goes Gosnell, comes back down the track. Branson has to take some evasive action to stay out of the side of that 98 machine. Branson down low. Gosnell up high. But unfortunately, folks, you can see it right there. Homan, Reed, Corey Taylor, all out of this race here. So 14 cars left in this race tonight as we are quickly closing in on the end of stage 1. 20 laps to go. Pierce, Jenks, Bollinger, Lamb to Luck, your top 5. Oh, big slide out of turn 4 for, I think that was Caleb Lamb. Yes, it was. Another big slide, both the 4 and 17 up into the outside wall out of 4. You know, we talked about it in the pre-race show. Myself and the 17 there of Tulloch, just how tough this track was, even with the repave. These drivers, they have got their hands full tonight. There's no doubt about it. And they are showing that here early on lap 43 of 140. Joe Torres worked his way up into that 6th position, still trying to find a way to the back bumper of the 17 of Peyton Tulloch. He's finally closed that gap. He's there. Once again, Lamb almost up into the outside wall off of 4. But here comes Joe Torres throwing it underneath the 17 of Tulloch down here in turns 1 and 2. Nothing doing this time. Tulloch's going to get the big run off of corner exit, and he holds on to that position. But here comes Torres powering back underneath that 17 into 3. Oh, this is going to get tight off of 4. Little wiggle out of the 3 that time off of 4. That's going to allow the 17 to prevail this time. But now Torres not backing down. Throws it back into turns 1 and 2. But Tulloch continuing to use that high line momentum. Carrying his way clear of that 3 so far here. And hanging on to that top 5 position in 5th. Looking back off the rear deck lid of that number 4 of Caleb Lamb. Looking back at the side-by-side battle behind him with 15 laps to go here in stage 1 at Iowa. Luck is going to clear the 3 and drops down to the bottom to take the line away. And Caleb Lamb back up into the outside wall out of 4. The 4 has got his hands full off of 4. And that is allowing your front 3 to pull away, and that is exactly what they are doing. 1.9 seconds the gap between Caleb Lamb in 4th and Chase Pierce, your leader. But you can throw a blanket over your top 3 as they are all bumper to bumper heading down into turns 1 and 2. 13 to go here in stage 1. Let's jump on the right along with that 53 machine of Colin Bollinger, running in that 3rd position, just behind the 81 and the 37. Making a move to the inside of that 81 of Brendan Jenks is Colin Bollinger. He's going to get that Dr. Pepper Toyota Supra to the inside of that Chevy Camaro. They're going to be side by side down here through turns 3 and 4. Bollinger inside, Jenks outside. Up the track they go. Jenks almost up into the outside wall, carrying as much momentum off the corner exit as he can. But the 53 is going to drive into the corner. He's going to let that Toyota slide up a little bit. Back down to the white line he goes. And Bollinger takes the position away from Jenks out of 2. Now, the 53 setting his sights on Chase Pierce, the rookie in his debut. Pierce has had a phenomenal start to his NEXXTCAR career. He has led 19 of the 52 laps to this point tonight. A great start tonight here for that 37 Ford. But Colin Bollinger breathing down his neck in that Dr. Pepper number 53 just behind your leader. Caleb Lamb's fallen back to, or I'm sorry, he's still in that fourth position. But a side-by-side battle continues here between the 17 and the 3. Tulloch back up into the outside wall off of 4. Alberto Abar just behind this battle here all by himself in that 43. Side-by-side battle behind him. Nicholas Donfrancisco, Dylan Eller side-by-side. Cole Morton just behind them. Morton still, well, he has found his way inside the top 10. Jesse Graham falling back into that 11th position. Owen Bridges has fallen back to that 12th position. Trenton Branson in 13th and Cole Gosnell in 14th. But 5 laps to go this time here in stage 1, folks. Don Francisco, Eller, their side-by-side battle continues. Torres, he has gotten around that 17 machine of paint to luck. Eller holds off the 9 of Don Francisco. Like we said, Torres gotten around that 17 machine. Does he have any tires left to work his way up and bring the battle to his good old buddy, old pal in the 4 of Caleb Lamb? But it's heating up front, folks. Bollinger to the inside of the 37. Bollinger down low. Pierce outside. Dead even this time through turns 1 and 2. Ford versus Toyota. Ford prevails out of 2 this time on the outside. Pierce carrying the momentum down here into turns 3 and 4. Is he going to keep that 37 machine ahead of the 53? Yes, he is. 3 to go this time. 3 laps to go here in stage 1, folks. Pierce, Bollinger, Jenks, your top 3. You can throw a blanket over the battle for your stage win tonight. Pierce running that outside line, allowing him to carry the momentum off the corner. 2 to go. Can he hold off the veteran, the prior NEXXTCAR champion? Can he hold off Bollinger? Bollinger, he wants to get this rookie out of here. He wants to make the pass and get the stage win. But Pierce looking to make a name for himself tonight in the best way possible. 37 outside, 53 drives it in deep. Can Bollinger get it to stick? Up the track he goes. Pierce almost up into the outside wall. He holds off. White flag is in the air for stage 1, folks. Hold on tight because we are in for a wild last lap of this stage here tonight, folks. Now side by side for second. No, Bollinger prevails. Chase Pierce, one more time. Bollinger's going to throw it down in here into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 1. But Chase Pierce is going to prevail. He is going to get his first stage win in NEXXTCAR at his initial start here of his debut. Chase Pierce holds off the 2-time champion of NEXXTCAR, and Pierce is going to get the stage win here at Iowa in fashion style. From the pole to the stage win tonight. Well, Chase, that's part of it, buddy. Now, it's all on for that checkered flag tonight. But Chase Pierce, Colin Bollinger, Brendan Jakes, Caleb Lamb, Joe Torres, Peyton Tulloch, Alberto Abar, Dylan Eller, Cole Morton, and Nicholas Don Francisco, your top 10 at the end of stage 1. Those 10 names we just mentioned, folks, if you don't know how stage racing works, well, your top 10 at the end of the stage, well, they get points awarded, and very, very crucial parts as NEXXTCAR has returned to the chase format. So these points, folks, they are extremely important, but Chase Pierce holding on for that stage win tonight. Let's see if by any chance Chase Pierce is on comms. Unfortunately, he is not. Oh, the 37, did he stall it? He's going to lose a couple positions on pit road here. That's going to allow Brendan Jinks, Colin Bollinger, and Caleb Lamb to get past him. And Joe Torres is being scored past him as well. So something amiss with that 37 machine, folks. Off of pit road, he is not going. He's losing a ton of positions. Something amiss with your stage winner 37 of Chase Pierce. That is going to be something to keep an eye on here at the start of stage 2. The 37 machine, your stage winner, your pole sitter. We're not getting word that he sped on pit road, but it's almost like that's what happened, as he's letting everybody go by. I was looking at under the race control tab, and I'm not seeing where he sped on a pit road, but that's almost kind of like how it's treating it. It's letting everybody go by. So a crucial mistake if that is what happened to that 37 machine. A crucial mistake for the rookie. Well, buckle up, folks, because this could turn into a good show watching that 37 Ford work his way up through this field tonight. He clearly has got a bad, fast Ford. Well, can he get that 37 machine back up front where he has spent the majority of this race? But out front, Jenks and Bollinger side by side here behind the pace truck with its lights off, folks. That means one thing only. We are going back racing this time. But folks, the battle for the stage, it's over. It is all on for that checkered flag now, folks. Buckle up because this is gonna be interesting here, short track style at Iowa. Back into the NEXXTCAR restart zone we go. The 81 fires off and we are back underway here at Iowa. Up through the gears they go, bumper to bumper, side by side down here into turns 1 and 2. Jenks, Ballinger clear the field. Liam trying to clear himself with Joe Torres. Torres trying to power it back on the outside. Nothing doing this time out of 2. And around's going to go the 98 of Cole Gosnell out back. Is he going to get that Coors Light Chevy Camaro back rolling before a caution flag gets thrown? Yes, he will. Trying to keep it under control. He's going to power his way back under that 98, and we stay green here at Iowa. To Luck, Eller, they're side by side. Now Torres is going to try to keep the 17 from his outside, and he will. But Torres looking to bring the battle to the inside of Caleb Lamb in the 4. Yes, he will. 3 and 4, side by side through 3 and 4. The 17 just behind that side-by-side battle. But, folks, we just started the stage. The field, they're all bunched up side-by-side, bumper to bumper. What do you say we turn up the volume here of the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series, and let's NEXXTCAR it up short track style. You have got to love the sound of the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series making its way around this 8/10 of a mile track here, Iowa Speedway. 61 laps to go here at Iowa. Brendan Jenks, Colin Bollinger, Peyton Tulloch, Joe Torres, Caleb Lamb, your top 5, with Nicholas Don Francisco, Dylan Eller, Cole Moore, and Alberto Abar, and Owen Bridges rounding out your top 10, with Chase Pierce in 11th, Jesse Graham 12th, Trenton Branson 13th, and Cole Gosnell in 14th. Corey Taylor, Coop Reed, Brent Holman have had to retire out of this one here with 60 laps to go. But the battle for the lead, folks, it is as hot as ever tonight. Jenks, Bollinger, two NEXXTCAR veterans, dueling it out here with 59 laps to go here in short track style. Checking in on Chase Pierce. Restarted this thing back in that 13th position. Well, he has only been able to work his way up to 10th. So it's been a slow progress to working that 37 Ford back up to the top, or to the front of this field. But he is slowly but surely making it happen here around Iowa. Right now, riding around behind that 43 machine of Alberto Abar. Cole Morin, he's working his way up through the field here. He's up 2 positions from where he started this thing. He's up in that 8th spot. You can see it there on the screen, folks. Your biggest mover, Colin Bollinger, up 10 positions from where he started this thing. Don Francisco, a great run so far, up 5 positions. Branson up 5 positions as well. Bridges down 6. But unfortunately, as they run right now on the track, Chase Pierce, your pole sitter, your biggest loser, down 9 to that 10th position. But him and Abar in a side-by-side battle. Pierce is going to take over that position in a 37 machine. He's going to fight his way back around that 43. Pierce up to 9th, Abar to 10th. That 37 machine, also the only Ford that we have got in this field tonight. Like we said earlier, not the biggest field that we have ever had in NEXXTCAR, no doubt about it. But these drivers putting it all on the line here with 140 laps here at Iowa. 54 to go here this time. Lap traffic going to play a factor here in this battle for the lead. Jenks has been able to hold on, but now he's got Cole Gosnell just ahead of him in a 98 machine. Gosnell drops out of the way of the battle. He's going to let the 81 and 53 go on by. Great sportsmanship there by the rookie of Cole Gosnell. Letting the leaders continue their battle here bumper to bumper. Not going to play a factor. Just lets them go on by. Joe Torres has worked his way around that 17 machine of Peyton Tulloch. Torres, he's now up into that 3rd spot. Great turnaround for that number 3 Mobil 1 Chevy. We talked about it in the first opening laps of this race. He was falling like a rock through the field. Was it strategy? Well, I would definitely say it is strategy, because he has fought his way back up through this field. He's up into that 3rd position in the number 3 here with 50 laps to go this time by. Big wiggle out of the 98 machine of Cole Gosnell. He's going to keep it under control and lets the rest of the field go on by here out of turn 4 for that Coors Light Chevy. But Brendan Jenks doing a great job of holding off that 53 of Colin Bollinger so far. 0.3 of a second during the NEXXTCAR it up. It got down to 1/10 of a second, but hey, that 81's starting to come back to life here as he's leading the way here tonight. But he has grown that lead up to 2, now make it 0.3 of a second. But Bollinger just hanging on here in that Dr. Pepper Toyota. To luck, Don Francisco side-by-side battle. I'm sorry, it was Caleb Lamb and Peyton Tulloch. SDK Gaming said it was Tulloch and Don Francisco, but it was actually Tulloch and Lamb, as Lamb's going to take over that 4th position from Paint Tulloch. Tulloch's going to fall back to 5th. Caleb Lamb started this race in that 3rd position, so a great rebound for him in the 4. But now Jenks has grown that lead to make it now 0.3 of a second. On the entrance into 3, it was up to 0.4, but Bollinger obviously much better down on turns 3 and 4. Turn 1 and 2, I would definitely say, is going to the way of Jenks, but 3 and 4, that is Bollinger's playground right here with 47 laps to go here at Iowa. Chase Pierce still trying to work his way up through the field tonight into that 9th spot. Alberto Abar holding strong inside the top 10 in that 10th position. Down 2 spots from where he took the green flag tonight. Started this race out strong, but unfortunately that Toyota Supra kind of falling off here in the later stage of this race. Kind of like the 17 of Peyton Tulloch. He started off pretty strong, but he's up 1 position from where he took the green flag, but he's been up inside the top 3 for the majority of the second half of this race. But right now, falling back to that 5th position in Nicholas Don Francisco, Cole Morton, Dylan Eller, they're starting to run him down as well. So Peyton Tulloch here in a couple laps, he is going to have his mirror full of that 9 machine of Nicholas Don Francisco, who's got a mirror full of that 94 of Morton, who's got a mirror full of the 77 of Eller. Yeah, Don Francisco really starting to put the pressure now to the 17. Morton almost up into the outside wall out of 2. Barely keeping that 94 machine under control. But now the 17 up the track. That's going to open up the door for the 9 off of 4. Not quite. Now Cole Morton looking to the outside of the 9 at Don Francisco, looking to try to carry the momentum into the corner, trying to get back to the throttle first. He can. He's now going to get to the outside of the 9 at Don Francisco. Don Francisco loses a position. Now can Eller get to the outside of the 9? He cannot. Eller decides to run in the tire tracks of the 9. Now here comes Cole Morton. Look, oh, and almost up into the outside wall, and he does is the 77 of Eller. But now side by side for 5th is Morton and Tulloch. Morton outside, Tulloch inside. Cole Morton says, thank you very much. There's a big slide out of 2. Hold on to it, Cole, and he does. Big save out of 2 for the 94 as he is wheeling and dealing that Morton Men Racing Chevy out of 2. My goodness, folks. What a save for the 94 machine. But out front, the battle for the lead heating up. Bollinger has run down Jenks. He's got it down to 1/10 of a second. Torres, he's lurking in the background behind this soon-to-be side-by-side battle for the lead out of 2. Jenks sideways. That's going to open up the door for the 53 machine. He is there, folks. One little mistake out of that 81 Camaro, and that Supra is ready to pounce and take advantage of it. But Torres just behind this battle. Let's jump on the helmet cam of that number 3 of Torres, and let's see what he sees out that windshield. 39 laps to go. Strategy call here with 38 laps to go. Paint Tulloch has brought that 17 Chevy onto pit road. He is now 1 lap down in that 14th position as almost bumpers being used between the 81 and 53. Big block by the 81 of Chase to the 53 machine of Bollinger that time on the entrance into 3. And this has brought that 3 of Joe Torres right back into the thick of it all here. And a battle for the lead. Big slide out of 2 for Bollinger. The 81 has the position. Bollinger, Torres, well, they want it. Jenks doing a phenomenal job of holding on to it so far tonight. He has led 75 laps, the most laps led tonight. Can he hold on for 35 more to go next time by here out of 4? 35 to go here at Iowa. Bollinger sends it in once again, but Jenks doing everything he can to take that line away from the 53, and he has been successful to this point. 34 more times around this track. Now, Bollinger under heavy pressure from the 3 of Joe Torres. Torres trying to make that bottom work. Ball, he's going to send it underneath the 53. Torres getting dicey out here through turns 3 and 4. He said, all right, boys, you want to run that high line and leave me the bottom? I'll try it. Let me roll the dice and see what happens. Now, once again, looking underneath the 53 machine, nothing doing this time through turns 1 and 2. Bollinger, another big slide out of 2 that time. Once again, Torres, he is living down on that white line. Bollinger, buying his time on the high line, gets the big run off the corner exit. He's going to prevail this time out of 4. Just like the end of the stage, folks, it is going to be a 3-car battle here with 32 to go. Jenks, Bollinger, Torres. You can throw a blanket over your top 3, separated by 0.4 of a second. Tulloch has worked his way around Gosnell back there for 13th. Why is that important? Because now Tulloch is in the lucky dog position if a caution were to come out. Torres starting to fall back here a little bit, but now he's going to throw it in deep once again into 3 and 4. Can he get it to stick? He's going to cross the wake of the 53 ahead of him. I thought maybe that was going to make the 3 a little tight there, but it didn't seem to really affect him all that much off of 4. But, man, he is still driving it deep into turns 1 and 2 on the bottom there. Does he do it again here in 3 and 4? But now he's starting to lose contact with the front 2. Yeah, he threw it in the corner a couple times too many there. I think he might be starting to lose the drive off the corner. But Bollinger, big slide out of 4 that time into 53. Jenks taking a bottom line this time. He saw Bollinger go to the bottom. Bollinger continued to run the high line. Well, this time Colin took it to the bottom. Jenks went to the bottom as well. Now they both run the middle. What's that going to do to the 53? Can he get that car to rotate down to the bottom of the track? He cannot. Torres says, hey, you guys keep running in the same tire tracks as each other. Let me get back into this 3-way battle for the lead here. And that is exactly what these two are doing. Taking the air off the 53 is bringing the 3 right back into the thick of it all here. And once again, he sees an opportunity, drives it in there deep under the 53. Nothing doing this time. Man, Joe Torres living on that white line this time once again into turn 1 and 2. Lap traffic just ahead of these guys. I think that might be Cole Gosnell. Yes, it is. Torres once again just throwing it into these corners on the bottom. Caleb Lamb in that 4th position. He's got Cole Morton just behind him. Chase Pierce up into 6th. But these top 3 bumper to bumper to bumper here through 3 and 4. All three drivers running a different line than each other. Torres, he got a big run out of 4. That's going to get him dead even this time into turns 1 and 2 with the 53. Can he get that Mobil 1 Chevy Camaro to stick on the bottom? Not quite. 53 is going to prevail, but here comes Torres. He's looking for just one more opportunity down here in 3 and 4. Bollinger gets back to the throttle first. Not going to be able to clear the 3. Inch by inch, the 3 is moving up further up the car of that 53. Now nosing ahead through turns 1 and 2. Side by side for second. Owen Bridges just ahead of the leaders. He's going to go way up the track. He's going to let the leaders go by. Bollinger's gonna hold on to that position for just one more lap. Almost gonna be in a 3-wide situation for the lead. But Jenks gets back to the throttle first. He avoids it. Bollinger's gonna clear the 3. Torres has to settle back in line in 3rd. Folks, these drivers with 23 laps to go, laying it all on the line. Man, Bollinger, another big wiggle out of 4 there. Jumping on the helmet cam of Joe Torres here through turns 1 and 2. Man, we talked about in the pre-race show, Iowa Speedway puts on one heck of a show here for NEXXTCAR, and tonight is no different with 20 laps to go next time by, folks. 20 to go here next time here in NEXXTCAR. Man, the 53 and the 3 leaving no room for error between the sides of their cars here as they run side by side through these corners. 20 to go here tonight. Now Brendan Jenks starting to get himself a little bit of a gap here between Bollinger and Torres. 0.3 of a second from first to second. 0.3 of a second from second to third as both second and third sliding off of turn 2. You know, you might be sitting here watching, folks, thinking these cars, they're driving terrible. But these 3 drivers, I guarantee you, they're having an absolute load of fun behind the wheel of these 3 machines. This is what NEXXTCAR racing is all about, folks. Racing hard, racing for the win, putting it all on the line. And that is exactly what these 3 here in the front of this race are doing tonight. Caleb Lamb back and forth. Cole Morton having a great run in that 5th position in the 94. Chase Pierce just behind him. Your pole sitter, your stage winner. Well, misfortune on pit road led to him restarting deep in the field after the stage break, but he is trying to work his way back up to the front here in that 37 Ford. But out front, still bumper to bumper to bumper for your lead with 17 laps to go. Jenks, Bollinger, Torres. Jesse Graham having a good run tonight, just inside the top 10 in that 10th position. Trenton Branson, your last car on the lead lap here in that 11th position. Payne Tullock in 12th. Owen Bridges 13th. Cole Gosnell going into turns 1 and 2, just ahead of your leaders in 14th. Then 15th, 16th, and 17th have all had to retire out of this one. Bollinger starting to fall back off the rear of that 81 machine. Here comes Joe Torres. He's applying the pressure once again to the back of the 53. 15 laps to go here at Iowa, folks. Cole Morton trying to hang on for a top 5 tonight. That would be crucial for that 94. Came into tonight's race just outside the top 5 in the standings. but a top 5 tonight could be just enough to get that 94 machine back on the right track. Out front, side by side for second. Bollinger outside, Torres inside. But Bollinger gonna hold on once again with 12 laps to go. Six-tenths of a second, the gap from first to second. Bollinger, Torres, do they have anything left in the tank, in those tires, to bring the battle back to the rear bumper, that 81? Only time will tell. But folks, time is of the essence for that 53 and the 3 if they're going to have anything to get up there and battle back for the win. Bollinger starting to pull back away from that 3 machine of Torres a little bit. 4/10 of a second, the gap now between those two. Nine laps to go this time out of 4. 6/10 of a second, still the gap. Brendan Jenks, what a run for him tonight. He has led 102 out of the 131 completed laps tonight. Just an absolutely phenomenal performance out of that 81 tonight. But side by side once again for second. Bollinger outside, Torres inside. But once again, Bollinger gets that outside momentum run. He's going to clear the 3 once again. And Brendan Jenks, looking in his rearview mirror, says, keep it up, boys. You guys keep battling side by side like that, and I will continue to see my lead grow. Almost trading paint for second, Bollinger and Torres, but Bollinger prevails once again. Torres is going to get loose on the entrance. Bollinger trying to block him. Torres, he's going to give him a nudge out of 2. These two drivers putting it all on the line here, bumper to bumper, door panel to door panel for second. Torres throws it in there. He's going to run the 53 up the track. Now dead even at the line, 6 laps to go. Bollinger into the outside wall at the start-finish line. That's going to allow the 3 to power back. Here comes Bollinger, gives him the bumper. Bollinger not happy with the move out of the 3. Torres takes over second, but the 53 not happy. Bollinger gave him a shot into 3 that last time, but Torres keeps it under control. We talked about it, folks, at the top of the pre-race show. Short track racing. It brings all the sparks and the tempers flare here. Well, tonight, we're seeing it possibly happen here in the closing laps at Iowa. 5 laps to go here tonight, folks. 5 to go. Make it 4 to go this time. But, folks, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but Torres, Bollinger, they both have run down your leader, Brendan Jenks. Jenks, he got to the lap traffic of Trenton Branson, and I don't know if it's the dirty air playing a factor or tire conservation, but here comes Joe Torres looking to the inside of the 81. 3 laps to go here at Iowa, folks. 3 to go. And we are going to have ourselves a 3-car battle for the win. Torres down low. He's going to push up, has to lift. You saw the flames come out the side of the 3. Jenks prevails one more time out of 2. Now Torres throws it in deep here into turns 3 and 4 down low. Branson just ahead of the side-by-side battle for the lead. Torres noses ahead of the 81 at the line. 2 laps to go. Still side-by-side. Branson way up the track into 32. But going to play a factor here on corner exit. That's going to block the 81 and the 53. Joe Torres, he's going to clear the 81 for the lead. And out of turn 4, folks, they are going to see the white flag this time. White flag in the air presented by True Designs here in Iowa. 1 lap to go, folks. And it all comes down to this. Joe Torres, Brandon Jakes, Colin Bollinger. Jakes sideways out of 2. Can he keep it under control? They're going to be in a banging. Colin Bollinger up into the outside wall through turns 3 and 4. But out front, it is going to be Heartbreak City for Brandon Jakes as Joe Torres survives in Iowa. Joe Torres getting to victory lane for the first time in season 10. Joe Torres, Brandon Jenks, Colin Bollinger, putting it all on the line tonight. But at the end of it all, Joe Torres getting a bump of displeasure from the 53 of Bollinger. But Torres is a winner here in season 10 of the NEXXTCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series. My goodness, folks, that is what it's all about. 3 drivers going head to head, laying it all on the line here, short track style here in NEXXTCAR. Torres burning it down here on the front stretch at Iowa. Well, trying to burn it down. My goodness. Folks, if that doesn't get you excited and pumped, I don't know what will. What a finish. What a finish. Burn it down, Joe Torres. You're a NEXXTCAR winner in season 10. NEXXTCAR goes 3 for 3 with 3 different winners here to kick off season 10. Alberto Abar, Colin Bollinger, and now Joe Torres adds his name to the winners list of season 10. We're going to go back, actually, and we're going to see if we can't not dial up, but we're going to see if we can't watch what all happened on those last 2 laps. Jenks just did not get off of turn 2 very well here. They get side by side, but Branson on the outside definitely made it to where the 81 could not power or throttle up to get off that corner. Then he saw the 53 have to drive it to the inside deep. But right here, it was all Joe Torres the rest of the way. But something happened down here out of turn 2 on the white flag between the 81 and the 53. The 53 is going to get to the inside here. But right there, Jenks just gets wicked loose, tries to save it, and unfortunately, the 53 just up into the outside wall. Lamb doing everything he can right there to try to get an extra position, but not going to be able to do so there. And honestly, if he would have passed Bollinger, it would have came down to what the officials ruled there. But let's check out your race results from tonight. Joe Torres gonna get his first win of season 10. Brendan Jenks, Heartbreak City for that 81 in second. Colin Bollinger third. Caleb Lamb fourth. Cole Morton with a top 5 in fifth. Chase Pierce, your pole sitter and stage winner in sixth. Nicholas Don Francisco seventh. Alberto Abar eighth. Dylan Eller ninth. Jesse Graham rounding out your top 10. Trenton Branson in 11th. Peyton Tulloch 12th. Owen Bridges 13th. Cole Gosnell 14th. Corey Taylor 15th. Coop Reed 16th. Brent Homan rounding out your field in that 17th position. But folks, don't go anywhere because we have got your post-race interviews right around the corner. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Checking my vital signs on my battle lines, going to war again. Feeling the rhythm inside of my chest, all I need is just a pen. I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. Don't care for the critics, my words are like physics, a force that they can't stop. They just don't get it, I think they forget I'm not done till I'm on top. I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. I believe we can write our story. I believe we can be an army. We are the warriors who learn to love the pain. We come from different places, but have the same name. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark the flame. Watch as our fire rages, our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. I've struggled for years and through all of the tears I faced, the doubts I hide. I never give in to my fears, deep within, cause I heard my voice inside. I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. I will never lose my voice. If I cut out all the noise, I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. I believe we can write a story. I believe we can be an army. We are the warriors who learn to love the pain. We come from different places, but have the same name. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark the flame. Watch as our fire rages, our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. These words that I write are for someone like me to know you're not alone. The moves that you make, yeah, that come up mistakes, don't ever lose your hope. Just know you were born for this. Just know you were born for this. We are the warriors who learn to love the pain. We come from different places, but have the same name. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark the flame. Watch as our fire rages, our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. I got something for you, a little more for you. You won't believe your eyes. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. Just watch me now. From New York to LA, east to the west. Go on and crown me king. I'm the best of the best. Just one look, you're gonna be obsessed. I give it.
All right, folks, welcome back here to Iowa Speedway for your post-race interviews. Kicking off the interviews tonight is your race winner, Joe Torres. Buddy, congrats on getting the win tonight, but most importantly, walk me through the last, 50, 70 lap battle between yourself, Jenks, and Bollinger.
Well, to be honest, the goal was to actually just be there, because at the beginning of the race, I fell back because I slid the tires and I was completely like, well, this race was going down the toilet. And then when we got back up to right behind where Caleb was, and then the 37 had a speeding penalty, that kind of like opened the door to just like sit there, relax, and chill behind the guys a little bit. It may not look that I was saving, but I was genuinely trying to save tire or trying to save the right front a little bit and just make sure that I make the car roll through the center. I was literally trail braking the entire run, going into the corner, letting it roll through the center, and then just as the run went on, I started catching the two guys up front, and man, that was a heck of a battle. It was really hard to pass. I did mean to knock Colin out of the way a little bit. I apologize for that, but man, that was a heck of a battle, and that was I never won a race within 2 laps to go trying to pass the guy that was running out of fuel, actually.
Yeah, wait a minute. Did you say you were saving that right front? Because I swear every time into 1 and 3, it looked like you were just throwing that number 3 in there.
Oh, yeah, of course I was. Completely saving. I didn't slide up the track and pound the wall, did I?
No, not at all. Walk me through, because up here calling the race, it was so much fun. How much fun was it behind that steering wheel?
Actually, it was a lot of fun. I got to race only Bollinger, I think, 2 races already, and I had a blast with him. Even though we were battling really, really hard, he was trying to push the leader to run out of fuel. I had a blast. I didn't mean to move him out of the way, but I had to do what I had to do to get by him. If not, the chance to win was going to slip through our fingers. But I absolutely had a blast.
Yeah, no, it absolutely looked like a blast. That is what NEXXTCAR is all about. 3 drivers putting it all on the line, battling it out, but it was clean racing. I know, bumps were made here and there, but that's just all part of racing, right? So, walk me through, you came in tonight. Good God, English is hard tonight, apparently. You came into tonight's race in tied for 7th in the standings with 54 points. Obviously, everybody knows the chase format is back. Winning you're in, it's out the window. A win still obviously means a lot when it comes to points with stage points. What does this win tonight now that we're in a different format? How does this boost your momentum for the remaining 7 regular season races?
To be quite honest, it helps it's the way I like to race. I love the chase format, and even though I would prefer season-long points, I think we could all agree to disagree with that. But I genuinely like the way that you just have to be basically in the top 10 or 12 in points, and then you'll be able to race for the championship. So getting this win off early is pretty good. Now we can just try to go for more wins and just try to gain as much points as possible and see if we can be either in the top 3 or top 5 in points, and we'll see what happens when the chase starts.
Absolutely, buddy. Hey, you only led 2 laps tonight, but one of those was the most important one tonight, and that was the one to the checkered flag. Congrats on your first win of the season, and congrats on making it 3 races in a row to kick off season 10 with 3 different winners.
Thank you so much, Ron. One more thing. Shout out to all Rowdy Nation for that. That win is for y'all, as well as for my family and for my friends that were watching this broadcast.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Unfortunately, Brendan Jinks is not joining us for the post-race interviews. So moving on to your 3rd place finisher, Colin Bollinger. Buddy, you heard Torres' side of things. Walk me through that 70-lap battle with you 3.
Ah, man. I don't know. It sucks. We were all really close on fuel. I know that coming out of the pit stop, and I know the guy that won the first stage. I can't remember his name. He ended up getting a speeding penalty, which put us in a good spot. And I knew I was a little faster than Jenks earlier on, so the goal was to save as much as I could while still trying to push him and hopefully run him out of gas. And I mean, we pushed and pushed and pushed, and finally, the one time I make a little mistake, it ended up getting Joe around me. And of course, second, Joe gets around me there for second. Doesn't the leader start running out of fuel, and he ended up winning the race. And then I go to pass. I think I went to go past Jenks there, and I think he just missed the corner because he was loose off 2 and made a mistake, kind of checked me in the fence there. But I mean, we had a big enough gap that we were able to bring it home in P3. But it was intense. I mean, I'm sweated through my shirt, pretty much everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. I feel like I was in the real race car. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you started 12th, you finished 30. You heard Torres mention how hard it was to pass tonight, but you had that 53 hooking and booking around this track tonight. How were you able to make passes? I saw you mostly kind of living on that high line tonight. You know, Peyton and I had talked about in the pre-race show just how dangerous that was, even with the new repave. You know, what made you go to that outside line, but it was working for you while other drivers were trying to use it, and they were kicking it sideways off corner exit, but that 53 was planted.
Honestly, it was just, you have to really you either had to dive it in hard at the beginning of the corner and kind of set on the right rear, or if they drove all the way down to the bottom, it just takes so long to wrap around the bottom there that you can kind of just gas up middle off and just pray. And that's pretty much as much I would love to say I was just that good. I was just praying the thing would kick loose, and majority of the time it would stay nice and straight. And of course, when we actually needed it at the end, it was starting to get real loose. I wish we would have had that in the first 50 laps, but we just couldn't keep it. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, you won week 2 at Pocono. NEXXTCAR's kicked off the first 3 races with 3 different winners. With the chase format being here and winning you're in is out, you know, you came into tonight's race inside the top 5 in the standings. This race obviously is going to help that, but what's it going to take here in these last 7 races to remain in contention?
Just the consistency, really. Just like you said, every stage matters now. Every good finish matters. You can't really rely on that one win, like you said, like the win in. But I feel like that's what we do really well is attack stage points and have constant good finishes unless we get thrown to a catch fence or, you know, get wrecked out or we go to a road course. I'm not really good at those either. But everywhere else, I feel like we can maintain those points and keep pushing for a good finish of regular season and then a good playoff spot in the chase.
Absolutely, buddy. Hey, I know you wanted that checkered flag for 2 weeks in a row, but hey, a 3rd place tonight after the battle that the 3 of you guys put on with this show. You can't be too mad about that. So congrats on that 3rd place.
Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. But folks, that is going to do it for your post-race interviews from a wild finish here at Iowa Speedway. Torres walking away with his first win of season 10, but it was definitely not without its challenges. Jenks and Bollinger joined him in putting it all on the line for one heck of a show tonight. But folks, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, then folks, I don't know what you are going to get out of racing, but hey, enjoy the rest of your week. God bless and good night.
He traded his guns for love, but he's caught in the crossfire. And he keeps waking up, but it's not to the sound of birds. The tyranny, the violent streets, deprived of all that we're blessed with. And we can't get enough. saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now. For every mile